The sun began to rise. Huong carried her basket of vegetables. Her shoulders were thin, her steps were heavy, but her eyes stayed firm. The morning market was alive. People shouted prices, children laughed. The sound of coins clinked in every corner. Huong sat quietly. Her small stall was simple. Green vegetables lay in neat bundles. Some buyers stopped. They looked. They bargained. Huong never showed anger. She knew every coin mattered. If she sold everything, James could eat. People in the market knew her story. The girl abandoned by her husband, the daughter-in-law cast away, pregnant, alone, with no home. Some looked at her with pity, but Huong never begged. She worked. She gave her effort. She only wanted to live by her hands. Her scars were deep, but every time she looked at James, she whispered, "I cannot fall. My son needs me." Life was cruel, but sometimes a small light appeared. A glance, a kind word, or a helping hand. Any of them could change a fate. Do you believe it? Do you believe her destiny could turn? If you want to know more, please like this video and share it. Let more people hear Huong's story. That afternoon, the clouds grew dark. Rain fell. The market emptied quickly. Huong held James close. She tried to cover him with her old coat, but the wind was strong. Rain soaked them both. Her stall was left behind. The vegetables were ruined, all her work gone in minutes. She sat under a tree. Her son cried softly. Huong pressed him to her chest. Her tears mixed with the rain. She asked herself, how long can I endure? How long can I protect him? Yet, in her heart, she knew the answer. As long as I breathe. Night came. The rain slowed. Huong walked back to the small hut. Her clothes clung to her skin. But James was safe. That was enough. When she placed him on the bed, she whispered, "You will not suffer like me, I promise." It was not just a promise. It was a vow carved into her soul. And friends, if you believe in her courage, don't forget to subscribe, follow her journey, stand beside her step by step. The next morning, Huong woke early again. Her body was tired, but her spirit refused to break. She cleaned the hut. She prepared a small meal, just a little rice, a few pieces of vegetable. She fed James first. His small smile gave her strength. That smile was worth more than gold. Later, she walked to the river. She washed the clothes. Her hands were red from cold water, but she hummed a soft tune. It was the song her mother once sang. Memories returned. Her childhood, her parents. Gentle faces, the warmth of a real home. She whispered, "If only you were here." But she shook the thought away. She could not live in the past. She had James. He was her present future. Huong raised her head. The river shone in the sunlight, her eyes filled with hope. Dear listener, do you feel her strength? If this story touches you, please click subscribe and ring the bell, because her path is far from over. Days passed. Each one brought new struggles, but also small victories. Huong sold enough vegetables. She bought a little milk. She bought a warm blanket for James. At night, she watched him sleep. His tiny chest rose and fell, and she felt peace. Yet inside, fear remained. What if tomorrow the crops failed? What if she fell ill? Who would protect James then? Sometimes despair pressed hard. But Huong clenched her fists. She whispered, "No, I will not give up." One evening, a stranger stopped at her stall. A tall man, quiet eyes. He bought all her vegetables, and he paid more than the price. Huong looked at him surprised. He only smiled and said, "Take care of your child." Then he left. Her heart trembled. Could this be the light she had prayed for? The world is wide, and fate moves in silence. No one knows when a stranger may change everything. If you want to know who this man is, stay with us. Subscribe now, because his role in her story has just begun. The next day, Huong thought of the stranger. His face lingered in her mind. Why did he help her? What did he want? But soon, she pushed the thought aside. She could not dream too much. She had to work. Still, hope had entered her heart. She felt less alone. In the market, some women whispered. They asked, "Who was that man?" Huong only smiled softly. She had no answer. James laughed as she carried him. His joy was pure. It reminded her that life was still beautiful. That evening, the man returned. He brought medicine. He said, "For the child, he looks weak." Huong's eyes filled with tears. She bowed in gratitude. He did not stay long, but his presence left warmth. Was this kindness real, or just passing sympathy? Huong didn't know, but her heart whispered, maybe fate has not forgotten me. And to all listening now, do you think this man will change her life? Stay with us. Like and share to spread Huong's story. Days turned into weeks. The stranger kept returning, sometimes with food, sometimes with medicine, always with quiet words. He never asked for anything. He only watched James with gentle eyes. He often said, "A child is a blessing." Huong began to trust him, but fear still lived in her heart. She had been betrayed before. Could she believe again? One night, she prayed under the stars. She asked for guidance. She asked for courage. James woke and touched her face. His tiny hand was warm. She smiled through her tears. In the distance, she saw the stranger once more. He stood by the path. He seemed hesitant, but his gaze was steady. Perhaps he carried his own scars. Perhaps he too needed someone. Life has a strange way. Two broken souls may meet, and together they may heal. Dear listener, do you believe in second chances? If you do, please subscribe. The next chapter will reveal more. The village soon noticed. Whispers spread. Huong has a man visiting. Who is he? Some judged her harshly, some pitied her. Others stayed silent. Huong held her head high. She knew gossip was like wind. It came and went, but truth stayed. The stranger introduced himself. His name was John. He was a doctor from another town. He said he admired her strength. He respected her courage. He wanted to help. Huong listened quietly. Her heart raced. Was this the beginning of trust? James clapped his hands. He smiled at John. The child's innocence broke the heavy air. John laughed softly. It was the first time Huong heard his laughter, and it felt like sunlight breaking clouds. Could this man bring light back into her life? To all watching, if you want to see how their bond grows, please click subscribe and ring the bell. You won't want to miss what happens next. As time passed, John visited more often. He checked James's health. He brought medicine. He even repaired the broken roof of the hut. Huong felt warmth return, but doubt still whispered. What if he leaves? What if this is only temporary? Her heart wanted to believe, but scars of the past made her cautious. One evening, she asked directly, "Why do you help us?" John looked into her eyes. He said, "Because no one should suffer alone, and because I want to stay." Huong's breath caught. The world seemed still. Was he serious, or was it only pity? James reached out to John. The boy smiled brightly, and in that moment, Huong felt something change. Maybe, just maybe, they were no longer alone. Friends, what do you think? Is John the answer to her prayers? If you want to know, don't forget to subscribe and follow the journey. Life slowly improved. The hut became warmer. James grew healthier. Huong began to smile more. John was patient. He never rushed her. He simply stood beside her, step by step. Together they worked the garden. Together they sold vegetables. Together they cared for James. The villagers started to change. They saw her strength. They saw John's loyalty. Respect replaced gossip. Huong often thought of the past, the pain, the betrayal, the nights of tears. But now when she looked at James, and when she saw John by her side, she knew life could bloom again. The road ahead was still long. There would be trials, there would be storms. But she was no longer afraid, because she was no longer alone. Dear listener, this is not the end. This is only the beginning. If you want to walk with Huong, if you want to see where fate takes her, please subscribe, like, and share. Together, we can give her story a voice. The morning was still cold. Fog covered the fields. Inside a small wooden house, Li Tuong opened her eyes. The room was almost empty. Only an old bamboo bed, a few broken bowls, and a thin blanket. On the bed, little James was still sleeping. He was just 1 year old. His tiny hands held the edge of the torn blanket. His breath was soft. Huong looked at her son. Her heart ached. But at the same time, she felt strong. Life had stolen many things from her. Her parents died when she was young. She was forced into marriage to pay a family debt. Her husband left. His family cast her out. She was alone with a child in her womb. But James changed everything. He was the only light left in her world, the only reason to keep fighting. Huong put on a faded coat. She walked to the small garden. The leaves were still wet with dew. She cut each plant carefully. Every bundle of vegetables carried her hope. Hope to sell them. Hope to buy rice. Hope to buy milk. Her life was hard, but her faith remained. She believed the sky would not abandon her. If you want Huong's journey, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell, because her story is only beginning.
Buổi sáng vẫn còn lạnh, sương mù phủ kín cánh đồng. Trong một căn nhà nhổ gỗ nhỏ, Lý Tử Hưởng mở mắt. Căn phòng giờ vẫn trống rỗng, chỉ có một chiếc giường tre cũ và vài cái bát sứt và một tấm chăn mỏng. Trong khi đó Dêm vẫn đang ngủ. Hưởng đã khoác chiếc áo cũ. Cô ra vườn nhỏ. Nào rau vẫn còn đọng hơi sương. Cô cắt từng cây cẩn thận. Mỗi mớ rau là một niềm hy vọng bán được, hy vọng mua được gạo, hy vọng mua được sữa. Cuộc sống thật khổ cực và niềm tin vẫn còn. Cô tin ông trời sẽ không bỏ rơi mình. Và nếu bạn muốn theo dõi hành trình của Hường, đừng quên đăng ký kênh và bật chuông thông báo, bởi câu chuyện của cô chỉ mới bắt đầu. Mặt trời dần lên, Hường gánh rổ rau và điệu con đi ra chợ bán. Và Hường ngồi lặng lẽ một sạp nhỏ bé, rau xanh xếp gọn gàng, người dừng lại, người nhìn ngó. Hường chẳng bao giờ tỏ ra giận dữ. Cô biết từng đồng tiền đều quý giá. Nếu bán hết, James sẽ có cơm ăn. Người trong chợ ai cũng biết câu chuyện của cô gái chồng bỏ, con dâu bị ruồng rẫy, mang thai một mình, không nơi nương tựa. Có người thương hại và cũng có người chê bai. Mọi người hãy đăng ký kênh để theo dõi những cái video tiếp theo của mình nhé. Xin chào tất cả mọi người.